Hello, good people. How are you wherever you are on your talk show, The King's Table? I thank God that He has been giving us power and grace to continue soldiering on. May the good Lord continue to give us grace and understanding. Right. I needed you to understand that the Lord He has been gracious with us to continue giving us grace to do things that are very important and critical in our lives. So let us continue today on the King's Table with your host, um, Bishop Knowledge. We are going to continue on the uh, title that we were talking on yesterday, understanding human behavior. Understanding human behavior. So we discussed part of it yesterday. So let's talk about it today again is part two, right? Because we really need to understand human behavior, because the Bible says live in peace with everybody as far as it depends on you. So to live in peace, you need actually to understand the people around you so that you can also know how to treat them, how to handle them, and how to behave in their presence so that you can be in peace with them. So today, I need you to listen to me very carefully for a short time that I'm going to be speaking. Just imagine a wife saying to the husband, "You don't understand." And also a daughter saying to the mother, "You don't understand." Or a son telling his father, "You don't understand." What do they mean when they are there? They can't explain what they mean so that I can understand or that you can understand. So that tells you that there are things that it drives people to do certain things or to say certain things that are difficult to verbalize. There are things that people do, and when you ask them why they are doing it, they can say, "I don't know. I just do it." Why? Because it's an emotional issue that is difficult to explain. All emotions, sometimes they are difficult to really explain and talk about. Yes, there are common emotions that we can easily talk about, like anger, joy, and the like. But some emotions are difficult to explain, and they can't really tell you what they are driving, or what is driving them to do what they are doing or to say whatever they are saying. But what I need you to understand, when you come to understand that there are some emotions that are deep inside a human being, for you to be able to connect with the same person, you need to look beyond the words that are spoken, or to look beyond the action that has been done, and stop quickly judging or stop your anger. If it is something that is can make you angry, you need to stop your anger, take a deep breath, and think and ask yourself, why are they doing this? That tells you that there is something deeper. I told you yesterday that you need to always ask this question: why is this person behaving like this? Why are they doing this? It will tell you that there is something that is driving them, that is deeper and that is embedded in their lives. And sometimes it's difficult for them to explain it, and it's difficult for them to forgo or to leave it. Right. There is another thing that I need you to understand about human behavior. Eh, Sometimes in life, as a human, you end up asking yourself some questions. I believe each and everyone who is listening right now is at one point asking themselves some questions about life. Let's take, for instance, Eve in the Garden of Eden. Why did she eat the fruit in the first place? Okay, maybe Eve, this is me thinking, maybe Eve had gotten to a point where she was asking herself about their life and saying, is this all that there is pertaining to life? Is this everything that is there pertaining to this life? So when you begin to ask such questions about your life, about your situation, about your being, sometimes the devil takes advantage of those things. Then he brings in an offer and said, is it true that God said to you, you don't have to eat any of the fruits of the garden? Then Eve had to try to explain, no, 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 all the other fruit we may eat, but this one, we are not supposed to eat or even to touch it. Then the devil says, why? Then she says, because on the day that we are going to eat this fruit, God said, we are going to die. Then the devil says to Eve, you are not surely going to die, but you are going to be like gods, knowing good and evil. So Eve is someone who has been asking questions about if there is something else in life beyond what she had experienced already. Yet to take this opportunity and try to find out something. Sometimes people do experiment with their lives because they are asking this same question: is this everything that there is pertaining to life? So they are seeking joy. They are seeking to be loved. They are seeking to belong. They are seeking something better. Everybody wants better. In whatever we do, we always strive to be better. We desire to be better. We desire to be better fathers. We desire to be better communicators. We desire to be better in terms of our education, in terms of our livelihood, in terms of finances. We desire to be better. So when somebody is offered a chance to be better without hard work, it's something that you can easily say, yes, give it to me. This is how a lot of people ended up in sin, because they were asking questions about what there is, what more there is in this life. And they ended up being in the wrong side as believers, or they fall into the devil's trap because they wanted to understand deeper things. And sometimes if you ask them, They cannot explain the emotions that they are feeling. I remember at one time when I was talking to a certain brother who had actually fallen, and he said to me, "You don't understand, Pastor. What I felt that time, I have never felt it before." This is the thing. People seek to feel even better, to feel more, to feel things that are beyond what they have experienced before. So he was telling me that he has never felt what he felt when he is with this woman. So let me say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that sometimes if we understand people, we stop coming with a judgmental uh, mind or a condemning mind, but we seek to understand where they are coming from so that we can help them address the root cause, not to just brush or try to whitewash the things that have been done. No, 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 no. We need to go back or go deeper to address the root cause, where this is coming from, where the behavior is emanating, the driving force that is within them. If we understand that, then and address that, then their lives are going to be changed. So it is good for us to understand human behavior so that we avoid anger, we avoid friction in relationships, we avoid problems that comes with the poor communication and the like, because of understanding. So when God is talking about understanding, when he says in all thy getting, get understanding, or when it says though it may cost you everything, get understanding. So you need to get understanding so that you can understand even the people around you, the community around you, and the way they behave. Let me say to you this morning, remember when Eve ate the fruit after being fooled by the devil, he took some and gave to Adam who was with him. Why did Adam agree to eat the fruit? Yet he knew that uh, he, God had said, you must not eat. He was not deceived that this fruit is not the real fruit that you are talking about. It's another fruit. No, he knew that this fruit is the one that God said you must not eat. But why did he agree to it? Well, the answer is in this. Have you ever seen some people who are taken advantage of by others, who are treated badly by the people whom they help or whom they are taking care of, but still they cannot say no, they cannot keep their distance, they cannot run away, they are there. Why is it that they are always there when they are treated badly, when they are being treated like a mob, when they are treated like a nobody and nothing? Why is it they are always there? Right. This is the answer. There is an emotion that is embedded in their lives that is to do with where they are coming from. And they cannot explain it. They cannot really pinpoint it or touch it, but it's there from their background. If you dig deeper into their lives, you will discover that they are holding on to these people because they grew up without love. So when they see these people around them, they think that if I lose these ones, nobody else will love me. Nobody else will care. Because these are the only people who had to love me when I was in that situation. When I was living a life without love. Now these people loved me. Even if they treated me like nobody, even if they treated me like a mob, right now I cannot move away from them. Why? Because these are the people who first love me. They all say the first cut is the deepest. So when these people loved this person, it had to go deeper into their lives. So because of the way they are coming from, no matter what these people can do now, they are not going to give up on them. Just like, let me take it a step further. You see, there are men who has witnessed their woman being bedded by another man, not only once, not only twice, but several times. But they are still together with that woman. Sometimes we say it is because the woman had charmed the husband and the like. But sometimes it's not like that, it's psychological. If you understand human behavior, if you understand that some of the or most of the things that we do in this life, they are being driven from within, from a desire that cannot be easily pinpointed or that can easily be identified. These desires, they push an agenda to fulfill in one's life. So I want you to understand that even Adam, sometimes because he had been lonely before Eve came, now that Eve is in picture, he can't say no to Eve because he loved Eve and he hated loneliness. So he wants to see Eve happy all the time. Because if Eve had to give Adam the fruit and Adam would say no, Eve would say, you don't understand Adam. What is she implying that you don't understand? It's something that is deeper, which needs someone with understanding to dig into and bring out that which is driving a person to do what they are doing. I am not saying we must justify bad behavior. No, 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 no. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, no matter what kind of behavior, be it positive behavior, negative behaviors, we need to go deeper and ask ourselves, why are they doing this? Why is he doing this? Why is she behaving like this? When you try to dig deeper, you will discover the answers behind the things that you see. The things that you see are a result of the roots that are already in them. So if you discover the root, if you want to kill the behavior, you go to the roots and kill it there, and it will never germinate again. But if you don't realize that you just want to cover up and say, no, 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 we don't do that, we don't do that here, we don't do that, then you end it up there. Sometimes you are doing nothing, but you are only wasting your time trying to cover up because the roots are still there and they are going to germinate and grow into a bigger tree which cannot be now easily removed. You see, so some people grow up in difficult circumstances, and their behavior is compensatory. They are trying to compensate for what happened to them in their history. What happened to them, they are trying to compensate now. Most of the people behave in such ways. They are trying to compensate. They do not know and understand it themselves. They do not discuss it themselves. They cannot tell you what I'm saying right now. But if you try to dig deeper into them, you will discover that they are trying to compensate for whatever they grew up in, whatever they experienced before. So they ended up behaving in such a way. So if you understand them now, you don't come with a whip to whip them into lie. But what you do is you seek to understand why they are behaving in such a manner. Sometimes, for married people, if you have an argument, sometimes it's difficult for you to maneuver and come back to the same page. But what you must understand is, or what you must ask yourself when you are arguing is, why is it I did not raise my voice, but she did? Or I did not raise my voice, but he did. Why is he angry? Sometimes these things are compensatory behaviors. The person who is raising the voice is because they think because of their background, they think that if they raise their voice, they can be heard well, or they can be understood if they raise their voices. Yet, to the other person, raising the voice implies that they are now angry. So you see, the friction does not end there because they fail to understand each other, but because they are failing to interpret whatever this one is doing and this one is doing, so the friction becomes even worse. This is why we are talking about understanding human behavior. So you need to really seek understanding. God helping us, we need to seek to understand human behavior, understand people around us, understand how they interpret things, how they understand things, how they receive things. Because the way we see things and the way we interpret the words or the tone, the emotions are different. But if you can be able to slow down, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, why are they doing this? You end up in a position whereby you can be in a position to interpret even the emotions that are hidden. I have been with people for counseling in which they tell a story, a couple telling me a story of how they ended up having problems. They narrate a small issue, but it's simply because now I have some understanding. I'm not saying I'm there now. No, I have a certain level of understanding. I drop the issue that they are talking about. I start asking other questions. By asking other questions, I am actually probing them to speak to me. And as they speak and explain things, I will discover where the real issue is, not the one that they are talking about. The one they are talking about is just but a tip of an iceberg. But there are some bigger things, bags, which are underneath, which are covered, which cannot be seen. But the tip is what they are explaining. The bags that are underneath, they are nobody is explaining to you about them. So you need to have an understanding of how to draw those bags which are underneath, how to ask them to talk about the deeper things that are hidden. By so doing, you continuously understand how people behave and you relate and connect with them properly. Sometimes that statement that I alluded to when I was starting, you don't understand. You don't understand. It's they are saying you are not connecting with my emotions. That's what they mean. You are failing to connect with my emotions. So, where I come from in Africa, if my cat or my dog is hit by the car and died, it's it's people will just say it's no problem. It's something that happens. But where I stay right now, if a cat or a dog dies, no matter how, but when it dies, some people around here they can even do a funeral. And if you hear them talking about their dog or their cat, you think that it's a human being. You hear them say, he likes it when I do this, he likes it when I do this, he likes to go out, he likes doing this, he likes. Then you ask yourself, who is this he that they are talking about? Then you discover that it's a dog or it's a cat. So for you to treat that cat as nothing to this person, you will discover that their emotions will be wounded. So you need to be speaking to such a person from the informed point of view. This is exactly what I'm talking about. If someone is coming from where I came from and talk to these people about cats and dogs, or a dead dog, their pet died, then you talk to them as you are speaking to someone who comes from where I come from, then you are going to have a problem with them because they are they are deeply saddened and they are deeply touched because of their pet. To them, it's not just a pet, but it's a friend. They see a pet as a being that is worth treating just like any other human being. So I'm saying for us to relate to people well, we need really to understand where they are coming from. We need to understand them. We need to really try to dig deep into their emotions to find out when they do things, why they are doing it. To dig deep and to find out if they say something, why they are speaking in such a way. Some people raise his voice not because they are angry, but they they grew up in an environment where they would raise voices to be heard. Just that, because they are coming from such an environment, it's they don't think about it, but they behave it. It just happens because it's something that is in them. So when they speak, they raise their voices. Some of us, it's difficult for us, even when you are talking on your phone, to just reduce your voice and try to speak to you think that this person is very far. It's naturally in me that sometimes you think that this person is very far, so the volume has to be a little bit up. Not because I am angry or anything, but it's just something that happens uh, without thinking. This is exactly what some other behaviors uh, come to be in other people's lives. So you need to understand where they are coming from. It's very critical for us to understand human behavior. If we understand this, then we reduce friction in marriages, friction in all relationships, friction at work, because we now understand human behavior. And people, when they speak, they are speaking from deep down. They are driven by hidden emotions. They are driven by something that we cannot see, something that we cannot touch, something that we cannot really point to. But you need to try and connect with that something. Then they will say, you understand. But failure to connect, they will say, you don't understand. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I am going to have some questions in the comment section. Please, let's discuss this, how you see this and how you understand this. Are you connecting when you communicate, or do people around you naturally understand you in such things? Let's hear from you. Let's talk about it. Thank you so much for listening. May the good Lord continue to bless you. I will see you again in the next one. Your host signing out, Bishop Knowledge. See you on the next one.